Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and I'm talking to all my lovely Pisces. Hello, Pisces. The way this video is going to work is the first half is going to be checking in with your energy and the story behind that, and the second half is going to be checking in with you and another's energy and the story behind that. This can totally be romantic, friendship, whatever's most important is going to pop through. This is mostly for my sun signs, but moon and rising are always welcomed. It's just about the message resonating. So let's get started. Okay, let's talk about the energy going on with you here. All right, well, that's really intense. Okay, I am all about intensity. Don't worry, I'm going to focus the camera in one moment. Okay, let me look at this. I think we have actually a relationship spread kind of sneaking in here, right at the tailored end. Okay, well, let's first talk about you, because we've got fantastic things popping up with you, which I absolutely love. Where do I put my cards? There, I put my cards up there. Okay. So it's kind of funny. The same thing that has served you and is paying off and going well, and I'm so excited for you, is the same thing you're kind of ironically leaving behind or ending. It's like it's gotten you this far, and that's great, but we're stopping it now because we're taking on a different sort of mindset when approaching things, which is fantastic and amazing and great, and we all love that. So the Justice card talks about this positive karma that you're receiving, like it's paid off, you've earned it, a lot of good things are now coming your way. But we can actually get way more specific than that, what the good things are, which is awesome. But it's also the mindset of somebody who almost has, like, I don't want to say a bartering mindset, but they're like, okay, if I do this, you'll give me that. And that's great, because this often pops up in career-oriented spreads when it's like, if I work this hard, I will get this much of a reward. Or if I invest this much love in somebody, I will get that much more or that much back, which is fantastic. But it doesn't seem like that's great, but now we're going to be not viewing things in that way anymore, because that limits you to, one, I mean, you have to work very, very hard to receive the intense amount of success or good fortune your way you would like to receive, because it's an equal exchange. And we want more for you. We want you to work smarter, not harder. You know what I mean? But also, you're meant to receive much more than that and have it be a happier, easier experience. So what you've done thus far, that's great, that's motivated you and gotten you here, but now we're changing that. I can tell in the Ten of Swords, though, because this is the explanation that mindset's going to be ending and you're going to be starting something new. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of, it's going to be painful. I'll be honest with you. I'm not trying to freak you out or anything. It is good in the end. But because we have this particular card popping up, it does talk about it representing specifically your third eye and your spirituality coming through really hard, and the different mentalities that come with somebody who is more focused on that kind of thing. It doesn't mean you're going to go focus on spirituality. It can be, and you're welcome to, but somebody who is able to see the greater picture and the ultimate outcome and what you need to focus on has a totally different mindset than somebody who's more thinking with logic and focusing on, again, the Justice card is very logic based. So we're going to be moving away from that, but that transition can be a little rough. So if it is, and if you feel that, don't beat yourself up. Just give yourself a second and be very kind and patient. It's a transition, but it's a good one. So we have the Magician card. This is one of our first positive omens where you're heading. And I absolutely love the Magician card, because this is somebody who is not limited to one singular manifestation or wish, and not in one category. This is somebody who has every single thing they need, no more, no less. They are a master of all the elements, spirit included, and this is somebody who I find earned it through studying. This actually gets repeated again here in the Page of Pentacles, and we'll get into that in one moment. But the Magician is somebody who, when they feel like this, they're like, yeah, I've earned it. I figured some stuff out. I now understand the greater, language of the universe. I understand my craft well. And when I say craft, I'm not just referring to simply like witchcraft. That's awesome if you practice that, and that can include this topic. I'm talking about your craft as in what you practice on the day-to-day, your hobby, your career, whatever. So we love this. This is somebody who's able to manifest their love, their career, their good things, anything. They are not limited. But the cool thing is they have this sense of like happiness and fulfillment right now, just purely being the Magician, because nothing feels better than attracting what you want, but then being the very magic that's going to then attract it towards you. So who doesn't love that? So this is not only the positive element, you're moving in this direction, we can get more specific about how you're getting there. So we talked about the mindset ending from the Justice card. And so where are you going to be focusing in order to, you're like leading here essentially? Because again, the Magician card has no limit. They are limitless for all this positive potential. The Empress card is also abundance, which we love. This is somebody who has happy, healthy relationships with other romantic partners, with friends, animals, everything. They have a lot of abundance around them, and they are just the general sense of good fortune and abundance. Like everything she touches, it gets even more than that because she is in that mindset. So we love that positive omen continuing from over here in the Magician card. But how she got there is the Page of Pentacles, and this is the new mindset to take on. The Page of Pentacles is someone preparing and studying, and this could be preparing and working a little more on this hobby and craft of yours. The Pentacles can also refer to a sort of belief system. Maybe you're practicing your affirmations or something like that. But they are just loving it. They are in it. They see so much to take in as far as what they can gain in knowledge or practice. They're like, when people get into practicing their belief system and understanding it's something that they can actually have firsthand control over, whether they're like, oh, I could try subliminals, I could try meditation, I could try affirmations, I could do this, I could think that, and it's just such a joy diving into different books and ideas and discussions. And because they view their life as abundant, that is what they receive back. That is your missing piece of the puzzle, because the Magician is somebody who has one or two pieces that have finally come into alignment, and they are that exact person they can be. Anybody can be their own magician, but it's like, what are your missing pieces of puzzles you can overcome or have fit into your life? And this is for you. This is your mentality towards abundance. We saw how it used to be and where it's going. Now, you notice the Empress is pregnant. This is that she is embodying the beginning of this mindset. So you're in the beginning of taking on the Empress's abundance. So for now, it's about enjoying the art of studying what we talked about. Either this could be your belief system or your hobby, whatever you're interested and passionate about. And by seeing all the abundant ways that you can approach it, you're embodying that idea rather than, again, seeing the idea of you have to do this to get that. You read one book, you get 10 ideas. You can get infinite amount of ideas. See how that's a much different system than the justice system? We talked about even exchange. And so this is the beginning of the ideas to one day embodying who the Empress is, who doesn't even need to pick up a book. She just radiates this mentality. So we love this for you. We love this new mindset you're taking on. But not only are you going to embody the Empress, she is the missing puzzle piece that leads to the Magician for you, which we love. But this is where we're going to kind of start to go towards more the other person resonating spread. And I'm going to pick cards in 1 second. It's funny because something that feels a little rough popping in is it seems like there's some opportunities that were popping up and then suddenly they're dying down. It just something stopped it, thwarted it. Now, this is actually working in your favor. Unfortunately, it seems like somebody's really letting you down. There's a sense of a promise being broken, this feeling of like, I thought we were together. What's happening right now? Again, this can be for friendship, but I'm feeling more of a romantic situation. But let's focus on this. This idea of somebody not being this sort of partnership you were hoping for. And it just feels like it kind of took down your whole world. And this includes other opportunities with other people, just in general. We're just going to focus on it being a generalized sense of abundance and opportunities in life. It's like now all you can focus on is that this isn't working out. Now, the beautiful thing of this kind of thwarting your sense of possibilities via actual opportunities coming your way and other friendships, other romances, other whatever, is this slows down your world just enough to become the student that then embodies these ideas, which then becomes the magician. So everything's working out ultimately your way, and I couldn't be more happy for you. But let's get more in specific, because clearly that's important enough that it's already popping up in this spread. So let's look at the energies for you and this other person. Oh, okay. Now this card makes so much more sense when we have a Four of Swords in reverse situation, which is a good thing, but when it's a Four of Swords, let me look at these cards real quick. Oh, okay. I know exactly who we're talking about. Okay, so you can, little fun fact, if you read tarot yourself, if you tell the cards what you want them to represent, they will then communicate to you in that sort of way, like a language. And so for me, over time, from both personal practice with private readings and just in general, that's how I've interpreted the cards over the time period. My Four of Swords is my ghosting card. When somebody keeps, just leaving, stop talking to you, and it's not very fun to experience. And so when it's in reverse, I can talk about it being here, and here, the promise that, don't worry, they're coming back. And I'm happy that you can have some sort of either resolution or it, working out ultimately. There are a lot of hints to it working out, especially when we have the Chariot card. But either way, I'll just be honest with you, it's a very exhausting experience, I can see, because when in the traditional meaning of the cards, the Four of Swords represents somebody who needs to take a break. Keyword needs to, and needed to take a break some time ago. You know what I mean? And the Chariot card is saying, hey, it's been rough and for a while. It's going to work out great. You're overcoming it all. So that's great. We've got that positive omen. But again, discussing that it has been difficult mixed with the other card replicating how worn out it's been making you feel. Oh my goodness, I can understand where you've been with this situation, and I feel for you. I'm sorry that they've put you through this. So let's get more specific, as we can actually talk about what's going to happen and their motivations and understanding their perspective. The Devil card and the Fool card in reverse, honestly, and the Temperance card in reverse, say it all. They say a lot about this other person, but on more of a level than you maybe had anticipated. So the Devil card in reverse is somebody who is, unfortunately, they're not the greatest relationship partner, to be honest with you, whether that be friendship or otherwise. They tend to, and this is to be understandable, we need to understand where they're coming from. People just define this as like not a great person, but in this particular case, especially with the Fool card being reversed, we can see that there's somebody who has a sort of void within them, and they fulfill this problem and this hole inside them by choosing things that they think will fix the problem, but honestly, unfortunately, it just falls through. It doesn't work at all. It's like, think of like a hole in like a floor or something, right? And, the logical thing would be get more wood to nail on top of it and cover it up, actually fix the problem. But they think by throwing crumpled newspaper, it will somehow help. And it just keeps going through, or if it does seem to bunch up a little bit after a while, it's so soft you can walk right through it. And unfortunately, they're just not seeing the overarching problem. But the good news is when we have the Fool card or the Devil card in reverse is they're going to be overcoming this, which is great. I can tell you right now, when we have the Fool card in reverse, this is somebody who I have compassion for personally, because it seems like they have been actively trying to fix this inner problem. It doesn't come out the best way, and you kind of have been the brunt of it, which is not great, and not they don't get a pass for that. That's not okay that you've been the brunt and projection of what they've been going through. But they've been trying to solve this problem for a while. And unfortunately, it's again the confirmation, again, what we talked about in the Devil card in reverse, that they keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And it's just not the case. But it also doesn't speak highly of them that when we get the Fool card in reverse, this is also somebody who fixes things through instant gratification. So they just do what works for them. They're not really checking in the way partners, again, this can be romantic, but for friendship, friends check in with each other. They don't just do what works for only them. You see what I'm saying? It takes two people to tango no matter the situation. But again, we can have a little bit of compassion. It's a back and forth thing with them. I'm sure you feel this way too. When we have the Temperance card in reverse, this is not the most pleasant person to be around. It's a lot of ups and downs when it comes to the mood swings, and it's overwhelming to be around them. But when it's the Temperance card in reverse compared to the Queen of Cups in reverse or the King of Cups in reverse, this is somebody who doesn't mean to. They don't have control. When it's good, they're happy they're there, but when it's bad, they are self-aware enough to be like, oh my goodness, I hate that I'm here. What do I do to get out of this spot? I hate feeling this low. And this is when the actions come out over here. So there's a lot of good intentions, but it doesn't mean it gives them a free pass for what they've done. But we can at least understand where they've been, and maybe that they're not the worst person in the world. You see what I'm saying? But we can talk about where it goes. So the Queen of Swords is you. This is you kind of sneaking up on them when they least expect it, and you saying, kind of poking them in the back. But not as in backstabbing, as in anything negative. This is a representation of truth and a very, very honest discussion, very straightforward. And just being listen, we're having a discussion, okay? We're talking about this. We're being real. Where have you been? What has been going on? Be honest about it. Tell me what you're going through. And vice versa, how you feel. And just putting it out on the table, because that's what both of you need right now. It's going to do both of you a lot of good. But remember, she is not mean. She is not cruel. She is honest because she understands that honesty to give to another person is the most respectful, loving thing you can do, and the most productive. But honesty can sometimes be difficult, and she understands saying no, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. This isn't about hurt feelings. We're just needing to get to the point, because by trying to take care of your feelings, we're not going to get anywhere because you don't know where you're going. And honestly, I've been trying to do that, and it hasn't been working. Let's be real now. You see what I'm saying? And because this card is in reverse and this card is in reverse, again, it's that idea of all right, this has been meaning to happen for a while. You know what I mean? So the Hermit card in reverse is also our confirmation that while there has been some time apart, you're coming back together. But the cool thing is, when it's in reverse, it talks about how that this time apart, while it isn't great that they have ghosted you and stayed away, when you guys get back together, it is going to have actually, the time apart has made you stronger. And by being together, you can be okay, where have I been? What was that like without each other? Let's get back together and compare and talk about our notes, so to speak, like we talked about in the Queen of Swords. So again, another confirmation about this discussion. But the Temperance card is something I want you to just keep in mind. So we can understand that this is them, this is their highs and lows. But it's also something to keep in mind to say, okay, so they left and they weren't perfectly amazing and great. They were all over the place emotionally. I'm being told by Spirit that they're going to hide it. They're going to act like this wasn't the case. They're going to act too cool for school. And that's something, don't read their facial expressions and their attitude and think that that properly displays what they've been through. So I just want to put that and keep that in mind. But also, it does reflect how you feel. and how that made you feel. And something to also keep in mind, because the Chariot card has kind of an abstract sort of perspective on the matter. While it does confirm that if you would like to be friends or romantic partners, depending on the situation, with this person again, yes, victory, you'll have the discussion, it's going to work out, it's going to be great. But due to her perspective and where she's headed, if you are like, no, I know we can talk about it, I understand where they're coming from, but I can't get over this is not the person I want to be with. And again, this is about decisions. You will ultimately do really well. It's going to be victory for either way from you alone, and you're going to do great without them, and it'll be fine. And it leads to a kind of, it's like a positive mindset that, like, because you're aware of how bad this relationship's been and what you would like out of it, the next one's way better, because think of this as you accurately pointing where you want it to go and then hitting your mark, so to speak. So that's great. I'm glad. This basically is a blessing in disguise that it helps you understand what you want. But the Temperance card, also facing out, shows reluctance on your side and something to consider. Was this a good experience for you, feeling up and down? Did it make you realize how much you cared about them? And that's great. And you're like, oh my goodness, being without them really just, sends me in a whirlwind. I know how much I care about them. I want to be with them. Or you're like, I don't like that someone can pull away from me and have this effect on me. This isn't what I consider the type of relationship I'd like. So this is important to acknowledge. You will figure this out and how you want things to go. The beautiful thing is you're being given the blessing that it's going to work out great either way in the end, and I couldn't be more happy for you. But it's ultimately that you're basically being told, if you want to go, you have the choice. But the choice is yours. So we love this. Either way, we've got the Magician card waiting for you and a happy ending either way based on what you want to do. So if you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. It means a lot to me, and I'm wishing you the best and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!